ready to come out and everybody see you? Yeah. Okay. Come here, baby. You're soft boy. Yeah.
There he is.
There he is. Look at everybody. Everybody sitting. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Everybody see you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, we are in the parking lot of Mount Laurel Animal Hospital. We just sprung Wyatt from the ICU. They brought him out in his carrier and he was meeping just like his old self. He looks really good. Look at him. They took amazing care of this boy. I'm beyond happy with the medical care that he got at the hospital. His breathing is much better. He was admitted for aspiration pneumonia, and he had pretty labored breathing when he first got here many days ago, but he just yawned. That was his yawn. But his breathing is way better. You know, he still kind of breathes heavy, but we think that's just his norm.
Yeah, so here. Yeah.
I told you he was spirited. So there's a couple huge changes that have happened with Wyatt since he was first admitted to the hospital. So they were able to get him to eat on his own pretty quickly. He was not tube fed at all in the hospital. They spent quite a bit of time sort of hand feeding him for a while. They used he would lap up off of a spoon or their fingers. So he's not quite skilled enough to eat directly from a bowl on his own, but with assistance, he's able to lap up wet food. It's sort of a mix. They add a little bit of formula in there and a little bit of water. So it's a nice soft mixture, and so he's able to eat on his own. So we're going to continue that at home. I'll be helping him a little bit, and the snugglers will help out a little bit, so we'll get a good routine going with him eating, but I'm not going to be tube feeding him anymore. The other big sort of news from the time he was in the ICU is his eye doctor, Dr. Enders, reevaluated him and determined that he does have some sight. He's able to track objects as they move across his sight line, and just the surface of his eyes in general is much improved. There's not as much inflammation. So he will continue to get the eye ointment, the lubrication. We use Sustain. He'll continue to get that multiple times a day, and that's probably going to be for the rest of his life, just because he still doesn't have a blink response, so he's not blinking regularly and keeping those eyes hydrated. So he'll always need that lubrication. But he doesn't have any active ulcers, and and his eyes are doing really well. And so the biggest news to come out of that appointment was that Wyatt no longer needs to lose his eyes. He gets to keep his eyes, at least at this point, as long as nothing happens, and they don't get any worse. He no longer needs his eyes removed. So we have some amazing news that's happened in the last couple of days, and I'm just really, really excited for him. The neurologist here at Mount Laurel Animal Hospital took a look at him today, and confirmed he does have a gag reflex. He does close his throat when needed. So that supports the idea that he's able to eat on his own, and he won't be, if he's drooling and that sort of thing, like, he will swallow his drool. So that's all really good news. There's not too much else that the neurologist was able to say. He couldn't rule out a neurological reason for his jaw. There is a nerve that controls the jaw that might be affected, but he wasn't able to test that because in order to test that, you have to be able to close the mouth, and currently he's not able to. Even just us trying to push his mouth closed, we're not able to close his mouth because of those teeth that are in the way. So until he has those teeth removed, we really aren't able to test much further. But the neurologist believes that as far as his jaw goes, the dentists at BDS should definitely be the primary doctors, in charge of trying to figure out what's going on with his jaw. So we're on the right track there. He's obviously feeling very good. He will be going back in the nursery with the maps, so I know he's going to be really excited to be with his kitten friends again. The maps are currently being treated for coccidia, but Wyatt, at least at the point that he left us to go to the hospital, he was not using the litter box. So there's really no risk of him picking up the parasite from the maps, as long as they're not both using the litter box at the same time. And if he does, we'll just give him medicine as well. Now that we know that he can swallow oral meds just fine, it's not a big deal if he has to take that medicine as well. So the risk versus reward, he definitely wants to he definitely would like to be in the nursery back with his buddies and have snuggler visits. So we're gonna have him rejoin the maps. So after this, when we leave, he'll be heading back into their room later tonight. So you guys will see him back on camera, and he's feeling good.
Yes, he is.
He also, if you guys saw the picture of him in his cozy little bed in the ER, he had, and his nurse Megan had made a comment about the duck stuffy that he loves. So they actually sent home the duck stuffy with him because he loves it so much. And I gotta show you guys the picture of this. I can see why you guys are so deceived by how small these kittens are in person, because when I saw the picture of this duck, I thought it was like a full size stuffed animal, and it's not. This is a little, hold your hand up, Chima, to compare. This is the size of a palm. So, like, hold your palm up and see. That's how small this thing is.
Yeah.
I thought this was like a giant stuffy, but it's not. It's really tiny. So they sent this duck home with him because he loves it. He loves to wrestle with it and kick at it. So
Yes, that your ducky.
he got his ducky to go with him.
Little ducky. Yes, my little ducky.
Yeah. Yeah, Ducky, the Irish duck. I don't know why he's Irish, but Wyatt loves him. So I just want to give a huge shout out to the staff at Mount Laurel Animal Hospital. They honestly did a tremendous job. They're so invested in him. We do have some follow-ups after this. I need to make an appointment with internal medicine here at Mount Laurel. They will take over his care as far as testing for any metabolic inconsistencies, getting that lab work run where we're going to check his thyroid and liver and kidney values, and just get a better sense of anything that's going on metabolically, and maybe being able to address why he's so small for his age. So we'll be following up with them.
Yeah.
And they'll be taking the charge as far as that further blood work goes. And then of course we will, as he gets bigger, we'll be in touch with his dentist and see what we can do as far as his jaw goes. But we have a really good plan, at least for the next couple weeks. Again, primary focus is to get him to grow bigger. But with him eating on his own and not having a tube feed, this is going to be a huge win.
You are your spunky self again.
And the little patch of fur that I took a picture of and posted for you guys, the little patch of fur that he has on the back that's different from the rest of his fur, they noticed it, and some of the nurses had apparently asked his doctor, like, what's going on, and she's like, I can't explain that. Like, he's just kind of strange. Like, there's just strange things about him that are unexplainable. And one of them is that he has a little patch of fur on the back of his head that doesn't match the rest of his fur.
That's little quirky things. Huh?
Yes, little quirky things about him.
Yeah.
But his doctor, his ER doctor, is very invested in him, and we're gonna provide her updates. And, really could not have had a better experience. He's so meepy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Jim says, glad they didn't remove his meeps.
Yeah.
He'll get weighed tonight. I have no idea if he's lost weight, gained weight, stayed the same. I have no idea. So he'll get weighed tonight along with the maps, and we'll kind of see, where we're starting from.
Yeah.
We need to get another baseline tonight.
Yeah. 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 Such a goofy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You just had a little short nap and now you're awake. Yeah.
He is a happy little guy.
Yes. Yes, he is. Yeah. 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 There's that tail going. Yes, I see that tail going.
Legend and Key might be a little sniffy, since he smells like the vet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they're going to react at first.
Yeah, don't let it bother you. Yeah. They smell like the vet this morning. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so the next update is we also have Sadie with us. I'm going to do an update. I'm going to have Chima hold the phone.
All right.
I'll put him back
Just
in there.
put him back in the carrier there. All right. I'm going to put you back, okay? Okay. Yeah.
You got to give him up. I can't.
I have to give him up. Darn. Okay.
All right, so we're going to give this
Okay.
to Chima.
All right.
Sadie is not as healed, I would say, as Wyatt. She still is very wobbly. She's not able to hold her head up very well. She definitely seems extra sleepy. So, to be honest, she doesn't really seem a lot different than when I originally dropped her off, when I was concerned about her. I don't think that she's returned to that sort of, state where she was running around after me and following me throughout the house. I've been holding her a lot, and if I let go of her head just kind of flops. She's not able to hold her head up, and that's of course due to the hydrocephalus. She has, oh, are you not able to see her face?
Well, her foot.
Your foot's in the way. So, basically her head is really heavy. It's full of cerebrospinal fluid, and having small little kitten muscles, she's just not able to hold her head up, with it being so heavy. So it's not abnormal for a kitten with hydrocephalus to have like a floppy head and have some mobility issues, because of that increased pressure in their head. But for me, there's a really big difference between 3 days ago when she was running and chasing me in the house versus, now where she can, hardly hold her head up. So, um, I am not entirely happy, with the state that they discharged her. My next steps are going to be to email them video of how she was 3 days ago versus how she is today, just to really highlight the change in her, and wait to hear what they say. I think, of course, I know they've done everything that is medically possible, or like medicine wise possible. They had the IV in her. They gave her mannitol, which is a quick acting drug that pulls fluid off of the brain. She is on omeprazole and a steroid now, which are the medications that a kitten with hydrocephalus would be on. And so, she's on the right medications. The only additional thing that they could have done at the hospital is that brain tap, where they insert a needle through the soft spot in her head and physically pull fluid out of her brain through the needle. It's a really risky procedure. First of all, obviously she needs to be under anesthesia. She's not even a pound yet. So the anesthesia itself is a huge risk and could kill her. Secondly, the procedure itself, there's a risk of pulling out too much fluid. And what happens if you pull out too much fluid is the brain needs cerebrospinal fluid in order to maintain its shape. And when you pull out too much fluid, it actually collapses on itself. And of course, that causes death. So there's a risk of pulling out too much. There's also a risk of, in the insertion of the needle, that you cause a brain bleed. And when your brain starts hemorrhaging blood, you obviously can cause all kinds of problems, with blood in your brain. So 3 very serious side effects that could happen as part of this procedure. And so they only want to do this procedure if her life is threatened and it's absolutely necessary to do this. Um, in evaluating her, and I do agree with this, it doesn't seem like she's in a life-threatening state right now. She is eating on her own. She does try to move around. She is like alert. So it doesn't seem like she's in a life-threatening crisis. And so they weren't, they didn't feel like that was the next step to put to those risky things were worth trying. So I understand where they're coming from, and I agree with what they did. I just feel like, I don't know. I honestly don't know even what else they could have done, but I just feel like I need them to kind of know how different she is today versus how she was 3 days ago, and just hear what their opinion is on it. I don't know if it would, maybe potentially change how aggressive they are with the medication. I don't know if it would change maybe dosages or something that they would do, but that's just where I am right now. So, she, as you can see, she does like, move around, and she can hold her head up. Like when she's in the carrier, see right now she's doing it. She can hold her head up, but very often if I let go, her head will flop. So, um, it's not like when we saw Wyatt and he's like super active and he's playing and he's rolling around, that's like a feel good moment. I didn't feel like seeing Sadie and sort of the state she's in. I wasn't like, oh my God, she's so much better. And so, I guess to sum it up, I'm still worried about her. I don't feel like Wyatt. I feel like a huge sense of relief. He just is like obviously so much better and, not in a critical state. Sadie, I feel like, still has a lot of concerns about, how high this pressure is in her brain and how it's affecting her. So, I think she's just going to require a little bit more attention and from me. Whereas with Wyatt, I can hand over, a lot of the feeding and stuff to the snugglers. I think that she's just going to require a little bit more one-on-one attention and, evaluation. So, of course, if she does decline in any way, I'll bring her right back to the ER. If she stops eating or, anything that's more severe, um, there is always an option to do the brain tap. But I think it needs to happen when her life is truly in danger. And hopefully we don't come to that. So, as far as like, what we're trying to do over the next couple weeks, it's the same thing as Wyatt. We're trying to get her to grow. If she does need a shunt, we need to get her closer to that 2 pounds. If she, which she would need an MRI in order to even determine whether she's a shunt candidate. So all of that is lots of anesthesia for long periods of time. So, we really want her to be at least 2 pounds. Ideally, well more than 2 pounds. But she's got a lot of growing to do. So that's where we are with her. She's gonna keep me up at night for sure. She's gonna keep my blood pressure high. It reminds me a lot of Tate. Anybody who was around with Tate knows how nerve-wracking, how stressful, how many nights we stayed up worrying. There were points where Tate was like, just, I'd pick her up and she was like totally limp. and we rushed her to the ER. And there's just a lot of a lot of similarities, I think, between them. So hopefully we end up with the same outcome as Tate, and she ends up being almost 6 years old and super happy and everything that Tate is. But we'll try our best. I think that's my whole update. Are there any questions that people have had?
A lot of them were just very happy that we, with the experience that you had
Yeah.
from Tate, to be able to help Sadie,
Yeah.
and that we have so many options and specialists here,
Yeah, that's true.
for them, just like we did with Tate.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of them remember what we went through with Tate.
Yeah. If you were not around with Tate, pretty much it's like what's happening with Sadie. The same feeling that, like, at any moment something could go horribly wrong, and you never really felt settled. I mean, I think until Tate was probably like 5 months old, like nobody ever felt like, okay, we can breathe a sigh of relief. It's hard to go through, but I just love these little hydro kittens. I just love them so much. They're so cute.
Hi. Everybody gets to see you. You are. None of them remember the padding we put all around.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleepy girl. So she's on 2 medications a day. She gets it multiple times a day, and what I'm hoping is that the medicine continues to work, and maybe we will see some improvements. Her being on the medicine longer. That's what I'm hoping. But we'll see.
Everybody's sending lots of love.
Thank you, everybody.
A lot of love and prayers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody loves you, babe. I have one more thing to say, and then we're going to end this because we don't need to talk a whole lot about it. But I need to say this. We were in the room with the ER doctor, and she informed us that someone called Mount Laurel Animal Hospital and told their staff that Wyatt was able to see, and that they needed to tell his doctor that Wyatt was able to see. I better never find out who this person is, because you will be blocked immediately. That is so inappropriate to call our vets and try to tell them as a viewer that you know more than our vets do. That is absolutely absurd and obnoxious and extremely disrespectful. So if you are watching and you are the person that did this, you really should be ashamed, and you better never do this ever again. Never, ever, ever. It is wildly inappropriate. So I just want to put that out there to anybody who's watching. If you even considered calling our vets, do not. it's not okay.
Everybody agrees. They are just like, what? Yeah, we were shocked when the doctor told us.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the doctor had said to me, you know, that's really crossing a boundary. And I said, I agree. I'm very sorry. And, you know, it's just unbelievable that somebody would do that. So,
they're all in shock.
yes. Yes. Do not ever think about doing something like that. So that's where I'm going to end it. I appreciate you guys watching and supporting these two. And when we get back tonight, Wyatt will be going back into the nursery, and Sadie will go back in her pen in my living room. But that won't be the end of updates, so I'll still continue updating you guys. All right. Thanks if, I don't know if somebody was CCing, but thank you if somebody was CCing for me.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to put her back, and we're going to get back on the road, bring her back home. Bye.